Their honeymoon began just days before Christmas, when the world already felt softer and slower, as if it was preparing itself for something gentle. The town they chose was small and quiet, tucked between snowy hills, with narrow streets glowing under warm lights and windows decorated with wreaths and candles. Arriving there felt like stepping into another rhythm of life. No rushing, no schedules, no expectations from anyone else. Just the two of them, newly married, carrying the excitement of what had just begun and the calm that comes when you finally stop waiting for something and start living it. Snow fell lightly as they walked to their hotel, their hands intertwined, both smiling at how unreal it felt to call each other husband and wife. Christmas Eve was spent without plans, which made it perfect. They wandered through the town, stopping at small shops, sharing hot wine from paper cups, laughing at how easily they got lost and how little it mattered. Church bells rang somewhere in the distance, slow and steady, reminding them of time without pushing it forward. Back in their room, a small Christmas tree stood near the window, its lights reflecting on the glass and mixing with the snowfall outside. They talked for hours, about the wedding day, about how fast everything had happened, about the quiet fear and excitement of starting a life together. There was intimacy in those conversations that felt deeper than passion, built on trust and choice rather than emotion alone. Christmas morning arrived gently. They woke up wrapped in blankets, the room filled with pale winter light. No alarms, no family obligations, no crowded tables. Just coffee, slow kisses, and the simple joy of being together without interruption. They exchanged small gifts they had packed secretly, laughing at how unnecessary they were, because the real gift was already there. Outside, the town moved slowly, people greeting each other warmly, children dragging sleds through the snow. Watching it all from the window, they realized how rare it was to feel this present, this grounded, especially during a holiday that often comes with pressure and noise. As the days passed, their honeymoon became a blend of quiet moments and shared discovery. Long walks through snow-covered paths, evenings by fireplaces, dinners that lasted longer than planned because conversation flowed easily. They learned new things about each other in small ways, how one needed silence after a long day, how the other needed touch to feel close, how compromise didn't feel like loss when it was mutual. Christmas didn't make their honeymoon magical in a dramatic way. It made it honest. It stripped away distractions and left only what mattered. On their last night, snow fell heavier than before, covering the town completely. They stood by the window together, arms wrapped around each other, watching the world disappear into white. She whispered that this was the kind of Christmas she never knew she wanted. He agreed, knowing that this honeymoon wasn't about escape or fantasy, but about beginning something real in a season meant for reflection. When they finally turned off the lights and lay down to sleep, they understood that this Christmas would stay with them forever, not as a memory of decorations or places, but as the moment their marriage truly began, quietly, warmly, and together. When they returned home after the holidays, the city felt louder, faster, almost impatient compared to the quiet they had lived in for those winter days. Suitcases stood unopened in the hallway longer than necessary, as if unpacking them too quickly would erase what they had felt. They moved through the apartment together, touching shoulders, exchanging small smiles, still carrying the rhythm of the honeymoon with them. Christmas was technically over, but its calm followed them like a secret they shared. They cooked simple dinners, replayed moments from the trip, laughed at how strange it felt to say "my husband" and "my wife" in everyday conversations. Marriage no longer felt like an idea or a promise. It felt lived in, warm, and real. In the evenings, when snow continued to fall outside, they recreated pieces of that honeymoon without trying too hard. Candles instead of bright lights, slow music instead of background noise, conversations that didn't rush toward conclusions. They spoke honestly about fears that hadn't disappeared just because they were married, worries about responsibility, about change, about losing themselves in the process of becoming a family. But now those fears didn't feel isolating. They belonged to both of them. They learned that intimacy wasn't only found in closeness of bodies, but in the courage to admit uncertainty without stepping away from each other. As weeks passed, The glow of Christmas softened into something steadier. There were disagreements, tired days, moments when romance felt replaced by routine. Yet the memory of that honeymoon acted as an anchor. Whenever tension rose, one of them would mention the snowy town, the quiet mornings, the feeling of being nowhere else but exactly where they needed to be. That memory reminded them how to slow down, how to choose presence over pride, how to listen before reacting. Love, they discovered, didn't fade when the holiday ended. It transformed, becoming less fragile and more durable. By the time winter began to loosen its grip, they understood what that Christmas honeymoon had truly given them. Not perfection, not endless excitement, but a shared foundation built on calm, honesty, and choice. It taught them that marriage didn't need to be loud to be strong, and that beginnings don't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes they come wrapped in snow, silence, and the quiet certainty of two people who know they are home, wherever they are together.